Well, there, welcome back to Prof. Neil. It's a pleasure having you here. And Children's Day today. And I'm doing a take on Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the child at heart, our first Prime Minister, and why he was a child at heart. And you could see that he was a child at heart with these little anecdotes that I'm sharing with you, and you judge for yourself. 2 or 3 anecdotes and 1 or 2 glimpses of some little things that I did. Children by nature are innocent. They love to laugh. They're most happy in their own world. A couple of incidents and anecdotes I share with you to show how much of a child at heart was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who I refer to as Pandit Ji, Chacha, Nehru as such in this narrative. And that's qualified best by William Wordsworth in the poem which relates to Rainbow, where he says, as a child to the father of man, that he would still remain a child at heart. When he sees the rainbow, he would still stand there and jump and be spellbound by a rainbow. Such was the man, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Once it so happened that Pandit Nehru was on a election trail or some visit somewhere outside Delhi. His security men suddenly found him missing. He had given them the slip. He hated the security as Mr. Rustamji, IPS, the first Indian police service officer, if I'm right, but his first personal security officer always used to tell him that you please don't get into the crowds because it's dangerous. There are so many threats to your life. And he would get furious and say, those are my people and I'll go inside, Rustamji. You're nobody to stop me. And Rustamji had no other choice. And security in those days meant 3 or 4 policemen. That's it. And Rustamji, of course, his personal security officer. So when they found him missing, they were absolutely traumatized, terrified. They searched here and there, everywhere. Finally, they found him and relieved. But where did they find him? They find him in the adjoining garden. He was playing around with the children there. He had leaving the affairs of the state far behind, happy with the children there. Now, this experience is love for children. And as it's mentioned in the text in the brief about how children should be brought up, what he thinks of children as the future of the country or anywhere for the world. Now, superimposed in my mind when I think of Panditji and his love for wit and laughter is that brilliantly timed black and white photograph. This Viceroy Mountbatten standing ramrod straight in his white navy uniform with all his medals polished, ribbons, epaulets, and unblinking. Next to Edwina trying hard to suppress a laugh, but her smile shows. She's trying very hard to put that laughter. It's supposed to be very prim and proper. And there's Panditji without a care in the world in his typical attire of sherwani and Nehru coat, Nehru jacket. He is bending on his knees with his hands on his knees and he is letting go of his laughter. Such a brilliantly timed photograph of that man. He is absolutely child at heart there. So when you got to laugh, you got to laugh. But then at a state banquet, he was like any prime minister would be, any dignitary would be. But at that point, on that Viceroy's palace steps, he didn't give a damn. And that was captured so brilliantly. I'm sure most of you would have seen that photograph. And once his wit again is qualified by this one particular interaction with Western media, Fleet Street. Fleet Street once asked him, Mr. Nehru, which was the happiest moments of your life? Without blinking, he answered, when I was in the arms of another man's wife. They gasped. How could, that was blasphemy. How could the Prime Minister of India, Harrow-educated Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru say this? Some other person saying this is all right, but not Nehru. And then he paused, and then to add on, when I was in the arms of Mrs. Swarup Rani Nehru, who happens to be Mr. Motilal Nehru's wife. And that's when they smiled at us. When they smiled, they started smiling at each other and realized that this man's wit, brilliant. His mother, in his arms of his mother, but she happened to be another man's wife. But how brilliantly put! Anybody would be caught unawares when he said in the arms of another man's wife. The second incident is about Mr. Shetty, recalled by Mr. Shetty, the country representative of a very major oil company in India in that time. Now, Panditji was returning back home to Delhi, that is, to Palam Airport, in the small little planes they had in those days. And Shetty, being the country rep of the oil firm, told the pilot to circle the airport twice or thrice before landing, I think to eject fuel or something, for some safety procedures. Shetty knew that Panditji was going to get mad at him for this, because the dignitary is there with him. Otherwise, he would not have got mad. So as soon as the plane was landing, Shetty knew that there was only one way he could get through his temper, and that was make him smile. But Panditji also allowed humor in the other person to ease the tension. So there is Shetty, and as soon as the landing steps are attached to the plane, Panditji is down, thundering, coming down fast, crimson red in the face. And as soon as he sees Shetty is there with both his hands, palms clasped in the Namaskar pose. And as Panditji shouts at him, "आप कौन हैं? और आप यहाँ क्या कर रहे हैं? और ये क्या कर रहे हैं?" So Shetty just Namaskar pose and says, "मैं एक गौड़ सरस्वत ब्राह्मण हूँ." That's it. And that, I believe, made Panditji smile. Gone was the anger, the fury. He calmed down. Very many years later, a major oil refinery was being inaugurated somewhere in the northeast, Assam, if I'm right. Shetty had to be there because he was the representative of the company. As a company rep, he was there. He was standing there with the dignitaries, but not the bureaucrats in front, somewhere there, but prominent. Panditji landed, noticed Shetty, and walked straight to him, unmindful, disregarding all the bureaucrats and the chief minister, everybody. Went straight to Shetty, done namaskar, and told him with a mischievous smile on his face, "मैं भी एक गौड़ सरस्वत ब्राह्मण हूँ." Shetty was flabbergasted. This man meets so many people every day, yet he remembers me after so many years, and he mimicked me after so many years. Wit, humor. Shetty was totally bowled over by Mr. Nehru then, that day. Children don't carry grudges. And that's again a beautiful anecdote shared by very many, but this one is a beautiful anecdote. Sharda Prasad, IFS, veteran diplomat for India, during Mr. Nehru's time and Mrs. Gandhi's time. I think also was there for a brief tenure during Rajiv Gandhi's time. In his column, he writes that once, as a IFS officer, just been attached to Panditji's office. That Panditji was also managing foreign affairs. He was told to make sure that file reached our ambassador was leaving at the airport very soon. Sharda Prasad failed to do so. So they told him, "It is a very important file we told you," and Panditji is very furious. So ensure the next 3-4 days you don't be visible in his presence. Stay out of his reach. Sharda Prasad did the same. He was in the office, but he kept, when he was walking around, he made sure that he didn't come into Panditji's radar. But unaware, he just bumped into Panditji. And Panditji just, "Sharda, Are Sharda, where are you all? Itne dino se kahan the?" Concerned. He had forgotten about the file, he had forgotten about Sharda Prasad's goof up. No grudges. Children have this innate sense of curiosity, and maybe that is Pandit Nehru's basic tenet, that laid the basic tenet of a scientific temperament. Like every child who aspires to reach to see the heavens, the stars, this man also wanted to. Hence that space program, investment in the space program for India. He was a man of science, absolutely, total fan of science. So maybe that's his, that child in him who wanted to see the stars, the heavens, like all of us when we were children. He invested in the space program that Indians would reach the space also. That happened because of investment. Investing in Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the father of our space program. A little incident here. Ahmedabad happens to be the only city in India where there's a physical research laboratory and ISRO. Why was that? Because Vikram Sarabhai refused to leave Ahmedabad because his father, Ambalal Sarabhai, was owner of very many mills, one of them being the Calico textile mills. In those days, it was a brand name, internationally known, renowned. But Panditji wanted Vikram's expertise for the space program. So hence he created a physical research laboratory in Ahmedabad for Vikram Sarabhai to carry on his research work, with an ISRO there also. I don't know whether which came first, ISRO or the PRL. So that was his investment for us. So these are little things that show how much of a child at heart he was. And as William Wordsworth says, the child is the father of man. So the scientific temperament, the basic plank for his curiosity, our foundation for the space program, for everything that we are achieving in science, research especially, to reach out to the stars. So thank you. And before I forget, have you ever read about a prime minister who wrote anonymous letters to the media, letters to editors saying Pandit Nehru is a despot, he's a dictator, he's mad, he's crazy? This man did that. He enjoyed doing this. He used to write anonymous letter on the letters to editor, saying about deprecating himself totally. The Prime Minister of India, Nehru, is mad, he's a despot, he's a dictator, and all that. Child at heart again, having fun, not without harming anybody. Embrace the child within you to enjoy your life and enriching other people's lives also around you. Thank you.